Good morning. Had some person wake me up this morning texting me about this mower. Of course, I haven't started this mower in a couple of weeks, so I don't even know if it starts. So tried starting it, put some gas in it, started up very slow idle. So I took the air filter off and the idle went to normal. The air filter sponge was saturated with oil. Wrang it out, cleaned it, put it back in here. This thing starts on the champ now. Let's see. This is the one that I found on the street. It had a bent crankshaft. So I took the sledgehammer, did a couple of whacks onto the thing. Came out pretty well. I listed it for $65. So I might sell this today if that person ever gets back to me again. You know, don't you just hate it when people say, hey, is the mower still available? Sure, it's available. When do you want to meet? Silence. And that's what you get all the time. You know, you guys flip mowers like I do, you'll see that happens more times than not. Anyway, so about my GoPro 7. It's kind of a pain in the ass to transfer files to your phone to edit, and also when you record at 4K at 60 frames per second, each file is like 4 gigabytes. So if my phone doesn't have that available space, you're not going to be able to process it and make it into a movie if you don't have at least 12 gigabytes of memory, which is what the length of the movie was yesterday, you know, fixing my fence. So if you can't process it, you can only process it at like 1080p, which is what it was processed on YouTube yesterday. So it doesn't even matter unless you have the capacity to have that kind of memory. So today I'm filming at 4K at 30 frames per second, so each file is not going to be tremendously huge, you know? So maybe I'll have enough memory in my phone for me to process it at 4K. So today's video is going to be very short, just to experiment whether or not I can upload at 4K. I looked at some of my older videos, and there are some videos that are... The good thing is, I'm just sitting here, and I said those words, right? And it starts and stops recording, just from voice command. So I'm gonna see if this thing starts right now.
See if it starts.
But I'm gonna try the voice command. Hey GoPro, stop recording. So that is pretty cool that I could just sit here and just say those words and it'll start and stop recording, you know? So look, I just finished cleaning this fake Nikki Carb. I took the bowl off and there was like, looked like sawdust in it, you know? So I blew it out and stuff. I don't know if I blew it out all that great, but pretty good, you know? You blow, and you can blow. Flip it upside down, you blow, and you can't blow. Which means the float needle works, at least, you know? All the passages are clear. I took the fuel adjustment screw out, cleaned it, and so as you guys know, this Nikki Carb that I replaced the original with, because I didn't want to clean the original, it looked like it was Dunsky. I put it on here, right, and as you guys know, it surged. But I never really tested the fuel adjustment mixture screw because it had that little black thing on that limits the turns. So I took the black plastic thing off, and now you can freely turn this fuel adjustment screw. So I'm going to try to start this up right now, see if it starts. It should surge. I want to try to fix the surging. If we fix the surging, that's great. If not, I'm going to replace it with this carburetor and see if it works. So I have my jumper pack on it. Let's see if it starts. It's on choke. So it runs good when the choke flap is almost closed, which means that this carburetor is dirty and one of the holes are blocked up. So I'm gonna quickly swap this one out for the one that I just cleaned, and we're gonna try that. So I just disconnected the fuel line, 2 5/16 studs to take this out. By the way, I don't think I'm going to be able to wrench much longer because even though we're expecting scattered thunderstorms today, my mom called me yesterday and told me that during the hurricane she had a bunch of tree branches that came down, so I think I might have to go over there and bring my chainsaw and cut some branches over there, and while I'm there, mow the lawn. So I'm gonna swap out this fuel solenoid onto this carburetor. I had cut the fuel solenoid so that this is just nothing but a hole blocker. The magic of film production, you didn't have to endure the swapping out of this carburetor in detail. So that's the third carburetor. First one was the one that came with it, didn't bother cleaning it. Second one, sort of cleaned it. No, I didn't clean it, I just threw it on there. Surges. This is one I kind of sort of cleaned. You know, I didn't clean it in total detail, but I blew out all the holes, okay? So that's on there now. It's choked. We're going to see if this one starts and see if it surges. If not, I can adjust this. Oh, you know what? That's right. Fuel would be good. All right, let it go. Bloop, 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 bloop. Maybe a little. Okay, it's choking. Let's take it off choke a little bit. Give it some air. When it was just running well before, that was at 75% with the choke closed. So there's still something up with this carburetor too. Took off the intake manifold to check the gaskets. And it appears to have a good gasket. So that's not the issue. I have this. It's the more higher horsepower, more newer intake manifold, the plastic one, with the orange O-ring on it, right? This is attached to a almost new looking Nikki Carb copy. What's different from this Nikki Carb and that Nikki Carb is that this Nikki Carb has the straight fuel nozzle that goes straight out. And this is usually designed for 15 horsepower or less, and this is a 14 horsepower, so I'm using this thinking it'll work, but it seems like it's starving for fuel. This Nikki Carb with the bent fuel nozzle coming out 90 degrees, This has worked for my 17.5 and higher single overhead valve engines. So this has a fuel solenoid. I'm going to take this fuel solenoid off because this one's been cut. And I'm going to swap it out. And I'm just going to use the newer intake manifold with the O-ring gasket and this higher, I guess the hole has been drilled out a little bit more for this one, so it allows for more fuel to get in. So I'm going to try this setup to see if it works. Put this manifold on, that new carburetor, and connected it. It's on choke. Let's see. Lowest idle right here. Could go even lower if I wanted to. That's it. That's the lowest. Awesome. Okay. All right. So look, this has always worked for me. The curved one always works if you have surging problems, which means that it's not getting enough fuel. The curved nozzle that sticks out, that goes backwards, this one always works when you have surging problems. And as we just saw right here, the newer style intake manifold, as opposed to the steel one, right? Not steel, but iron one, right? Cast iron. This thing works great. I didn't even clean this carburetor. I just took it out of a box. I don't even know if it's dirty or not, but it seems to run on high and low throttle pretty well. It could use a little bit of going over, but you know, it seems to run pretty well. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna head over to my mom's right now. If not, I'm going to try to figure out if I can put a key in there, and if the ignition turns the solenoid. I have a feeling the solenoid's definitely bad, but it looks like that this engine is salvageable and it runs pretty well now. So what I just did was I wanted to try something. I took the magneto kill wire and I connected it to the magneto. I'm going to turn the key switch to, obviously there's no the battery's not, I mean, it's dead, you know, so that's why I've been jumping it with my jumper pack. I'm going to turn the ignition key to on. I'm going to see if it starts with the jumper pack. If it does, it means that it's not killing the magneto with the switch on. Then if it runs, I'm going to turn the switch off and see if it kills. That's good news. So we know that we can start the engine with this kill switch when the ignition is on, and then when the engine's running, it doesn't stop it and prevent it from running, and when it is running, you can turn the switch off. So we know that the magneto kill wire works, which means that the safety switches have been bypassed. That's what it means, because I'm neither sitting on the thing nor anything else. You know, the brake pedal is there. I haven't stepped on anything. So that's good news. Now we would try the solenoid to see if that works. I doubt it, and then we need to put a battery in. But honestly, I don't know if I want to do this, because if you just take a look at right there, see the pedal, brake pedal? It's like in the engaged position. It's not moving. I'm not moving the transmission, and it feels hinky also. So I don't know if I want to go any further with this. I think I might just take the engine and strip this of its parts, and that'll be it, you know? Parking brake. Okay, this might be something. Check out the back battery to this thing. It looks like it only fits this really narrow longitudinal type battery in there. It looks like a motorcycle battery. I don't even think I could put a regular battery in here, because look how low it sinks down into that little crevice, you know? Crazy. Anyway, I just put a jumper pack to this battery and it doesn't start, which means that one of the safety switches are bad or the solenoid's bad. So I don't know. I still have to think about what I want to do with this thing, you know, whether or not I want to try to get the tractor going, or should I just remove the engine for future use, you know what I'm saying? This thing could only be a hauler at the very most anyway, you know? So I don't know if I want to do that. But I might have to go and see my mom now, so that's it for today. Swapped out 2 carburetors, and we ended up using what I pretty much knew would work. Would be the higher horsepower type Nikki Chinese copied carb with the 90-degree angled fuel nozzle that comes out, and so it runs pretty well with that. I'm pretty happy though being able to salvage this engine. Like I said, I got it for free, and Larry was even saying, oh, what are you gonna go and get that for? You know, it's a piece of junk, whatever. You see, that's the difference, Larry, between you and I. I'll go get a free engine. You'll just leave it if it doesn't look good. Looks can be deceiving. It works. You could paint it and whatever, and you look at it and go, oh, wow, that looks nice. Oh, yeah, well, that's the engine that you didn't want to go get. But, yeah, this tractor's pretty crappy, though. But if I could, you know, get some good parts out of it, as well as, you know, getting an engine out of it, it was worth a 40-minute drive. I've driven to my mom's area, and look at that tree. Holy cow. So I'm at my mom's house now, and I'm just gonna go and see what the carnage looks like. other than that, just that big tree you just saw, doesn't seem like it's too bad. All right, so I'm looking right now, and it's not too bad. It's just one branch seedling, sampling. So it's just this, not a big deal. Not too bad. Hey GoPro, stop recording. I brought my Remington 20-inch Outlaw RM4620. I got this through a recall, actually, through MTD. A couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I had one of these things through a trade. The serial number matched one of the ones that was in the recall. And so I called them up. They sent me a brand new chainsaw. I says, hey, what do you want me to do with the old chainsaw? He's like, just throw it away. I'm like, okay. I didn't throw it away. I sold it or something. Anyway, I haven't used this thing for over a year. Still has gas in it, and I just filled up a little bit of bar and chain lube into the reservoir. There's still some gas in it. It's on stop. First start in a year. Old gas and everything. Of course, it's a two-stroke, you know, so choke. So I finally got it started. right, so there you go. Got rid of all the branches, packed that up, not bad. And my GoPro battery is about to die. GoPro cameras, the battery just runs out really quickly, you know? So my friend Andy from Jericho, he had a GoPro 8 Black, and when we went skiing up in Canada, he lost it. So he has a whole bunch of batteries he gave me, so luckily I have an extra battery. Now I'm going to be starting up the Weed Whacker, as well as get the Black Beauty running. We can do some mowing over here. I'm gonna put you on time lapse, see how it looks. So I'm done with my gardening over here at my mom's house. Got my Vandenmolen windmill backpack blower. Always starts on the first pull. Anyway, I'm done today. I'm headed back. So I'm back home, and while I was driving home, there's actually some traffic, believe it or not. When I was driving home, Frank the UPS guy strikes again. That's right, he texted me about an hour ago. I know it took me that long to get home from my mom's house. And he said that there's a riding mower a couple of blocks away from my house. He said it's on the curb already, and it's been an hour. I looked at the address, and it's one of those streets where it's like almost a cul-de-sac. You know, it's not quite a cul-de-sac, but it's a sort of one. In other words, everybody on that road should live there. It's not a highly trafficked road, so hopefully in an hour's time, it was there an hour ago, hopefully it'll still be there. You don't get too many riding mower tips from Frank the UPS guy. It's usually just push mowers. So we're on our way over there, and I'm going to check it out and see if it's worth picking up. It's not too far, so no loss. Should be coming up around that turn, and there it is. It's a white Outdoors. Another MTD product. This is my first white Outdoors. Never had one like this before. How about that? It has the same battery compartment as the other one. Or maybe it's a little wider. It doesn't look wider. The deck looks still there. This is definitely in better shape than the Hurricane Esaias tractor for sure. Ooh, guess what? It's a V-Twin. It's what Larry needs. Let's see if this engine can run. If it can't run, I'll give Larry the plastics. I'm gonna set you up for a time lapse and put this in my truck. How about it, huh? White Outdoors lawn tractor. You ready for this? It's an 18 horsepower V-Twin Briggs, right? And the owner came out. And so I just asked him, I said, you know any history behind it? He told me everything there is to know. He says, it hasn't run in 8 years. At least that's what the son said. Anyhow, the owner came out and he gave me the original user manual from the tractor and an extra key. You ready? You ready for this? He says the engine works. I'm like, what? The engine works? And he says that he had it started, but he had to jump it. So if it's just a busted solenoid, man, it's a score! Well, it's a score for me, but if the engine runs, unfortunately, I can't give the plastics to Larry. Well, we'll find out tomorrow when I whip it out. And of course, since I'm working on this one, that kind of makes my decision on the Hurricane Esaias tractor, huh? Probably just going to take the engine off and strip it so that I could start working on this one. Why bother with Esaias if I can get this White Outdoors one running, right? Good score, thanks to Frank the UPS guy. So as you saw, I got it off my truck, just roll it right off, came right down. And you know, it's surprising because it rolls, you know. Usually these things are hydrostatic and you can't roll nothing. And it should be hydrostatic because that's what I thought it was, and it is. LT1650 hydro. Now that kind of doesn't make sense because 16 should be the horsepower, 50 should be the deck. The deck is definitely not a 50 and that engine is definitely not a 16. So that's a little strange, unless that's just a model number that they go by and not by the normal ones. So you can tell it's a hydrostatic by these pedals here. These pedals, see, unless there's a disengage, you know, oh, there is one, see? Transmission bypass rod, and it's pulled completely out. To engage transmission, pull rod up and push in. To release transmission, pull out rod and push down. So it's on the release. So according to what the guy said, it should just be a solenoid, which is usually around here somewhere. Is it right there? That's right there. That's one thing about these GoPros. I can just put it down here and you can see. So maybe change of put a battery in there, change the solenoid, and this baby might be able to run. That would be a tremendous bonus. 18 V-Twin. How about that? Look at this. It's got a gas tank, but also has a fuel pump. It's very strange, huh? Why would you need a fuel pump? Anyway, that was a pretty good day for me. Got that carburetor running well, and it doesn't surge, right? And because of that fuel nozzle with a 90-degree backwards, that always fixed the problem. So now that engine doesn't surge. I'm going to take that engine off. I'm going to tear this thing apart and piece it out, keep the parts that I want, and throw the rest to the curb, and then start working on this thing. Look at that, huh? Grass is growing on the seat. It's actually the first time I've ever seen that. That's pretty cool. Anyway, went to my mom's house, got her all straightened out too with her debris from the hurricane, and thanks to Frank the UPS guy, picked something up. See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.
Henry, I gotta go. I'll see you next time on Mowers and Blowers.